Hi everyone, I welcome you all to the first week of Project Osari's 15-week program. Today is the first class for week 1 and today we're going to cover basics of original oratory. A few ground rules before I begin with today's session. Just please make sure that for the next 20 to 25 minutes I'll be continuously speaking with occasional me asking you small questions so that I keep the session as engaging as possible. And please keep yourselves muted throughout the entire session. And after I am done speaking, I'll be asking you any questions that you might have about a certain part in the PPT. So keep on noting your queries or any important things that you think would be beneficial for you. So before I begin, let's do a basic recap of what we've already discussed through the YouTube videos that I've been sending you. And if you want more detailed explanation of the things that are discussed in this recap, I request you all to please go to Project Osari's YouTube channel and check the video 2 in the series, the 10-minute series. Alright. So first we discussed what is the difference between communication and public speaking. So communication is essentially just an exchange of ideas between two people, whereas public speaking is generally done to evoke change in the society at large. So communication is basically just you and me talking, you and your parents talking, you and your friends talking, your teachers with your grandparents, just anything, any sort of talking that you do in general on day-to-day basis is communication. And public speaking is usually done in front of a larger audience so that you can explain your message or you can tell them something important. For example, if you are in a school assembly, so your principal or your head teacher might give you a speech on the topic on which the assembly is based. For example, near Diwali, a lot of schools conduct the assemblies on eco-friendly Diwali, and your facilitators, your principals or your head teachers might be giving you speeches on how you can conduct an eco-friendly Diwali, how you should not burn crackers, how you should save environment, etc. Please give me a thumbs up if you agree with whatever I've just said here. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Now, a public speaking speech must be persuasive and easy to understand so that the audience can make use of whatever is being told, whatever is being talked about or informed to them. Now, today's agenda will be covering three things. Firstly is the difference between a debate, declamation and original oratory. Second, how to structure an original oratory speech. And thirdly, how to research for a speech. Now let's dive into some basic definitions of OO, debate and declamation. So just a disclaimer here, this slide right over here is just for additional education purposes. It is just to make you understand the difference between these three so that you know what is being covered in this program and what is not being covered in this program. And just in general, I think it is very important for you as budding public speakers to know the difference between the three. Now, I am pretty sure you would know the meaning of debate and declamation. Just give me a quick thumbs up, any emoji you want to give. Okay, yeah, perfect. But I'm pretty sure original oratory is something you've never heard before, right? Again, just give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Now, original oratory or OO, again, it is a long name, so I'll just be using the acronym OO because this is something that is also used at national and international circuits, so it is easier to identify. Now, OO is a speech written entirely by the speaker, that is you, the student yourself, where they are expected to have good material through strong research and are also expected to deliver it in a good way. This is what we will be learning throughout our program. Secondly, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so OO is basically just a written speech that is a thoroughly researched by you, but also is spoken by you in a very good, persuasive manner, which has a lot of expressions and a lot of voice modulation. All right, so you can just understand OO basically as a speech that you see your principals delivering in the school assembly, you participating in a declamation, and you being able to speak on a certain topic, and you prepare a speech to speak on that certain topic, right? And that becomes an OO speech. Secondly, debate. How many of you have heard about debate? Again, just raise of hands or quickly thumbs up, whatever. Yes, so everybody knows about a debate. So it is a structured argument where two sides take turns speaking for and against a topic. Nothing too deep. It just means debating means that it will cover two sides for or against, and this is very important for this program. Now, thirdly, declamation. I hope you all have heard about declamation. Yes, perfect. Everybody knows about declamation, but they don't really know what a declamation actually means. So, a declamation is actually written by a famous speaker, like an activist or a famous person, and their speech is then spoken with some changes by the speaker. The burden is given more on voice modulation and expressions, and this is beyond the capacity of this program. Now, what is declamation actually? Have you all heard about TEDx speakers? Yeah. Yes, so if you don't know about TEDx speakers, you can go to the YouTube channel and search any TEDx speech. These speakers, they speak on a topic which they really like and which they really want that people should know about it. Now, for example, you like a certain TEDx speech and it matches with a topic that you've gotten from your school, and you would like to take that speech and interpret it in your own way. That is to say, you would want to change it in your own way so that you can speak it for a school event, for a school competition. And that is what a declamation means. That means you're not writing a speech yourself, you're taking someone else's speech and you're just adding your um, you know your effects, your interpretation, or you're just making it feel like you're speaking it, but in reality it is not really written by you. And declamation is something that we'll not be covering in this program. The main focus will be OO and debate, and original oratory is something that we'll be discussing in this week, and debate is something that we'll be covering in the next week. So again, just basic definitions, nothing that deep. I hope it was pretty easy to understand. Just give me a quick thumbs up after I end every slide. Okay, perfect, thank you. Now, structure for an OO speech. Now, the thing is that I just want to clarify again, an OO speech is really just a normal public speaking speech that you see all these famous speakers speaking around you. Alright, so please do not get confused by this new term. Just know that I know that this is a new term for you, very, very new term for you, but just think of it as a normal speech, okay? And if you haven't okay, it is like just like a normal speech. All right, now we'll be covering a basic structure for an OO speech. Now, before I start with this structure, I just really wanted to share with you all that the structure that I have on this slide and the next slide continued is a structure that you can use as beginners. This is just a basic structure and can be changed according to your needs, according to your choice. But me giving you this structure is just to make you understand how a basic speech should look like. As you progress and as you become better with practice in public speaking and writing your speeches, you will be able to change this format, this structure in a much more easier way. All right, so understand structure as a format of your speech. I'm pretty sure that in your school's English classes, when you're writing an essay or say an informal or formal letter, your teachers always focus on format, right? That this is how you write the date, the city, the sender's address, and etc., things like that. The thing is that that is a format for writing. Now here, structure is a format that you can use for an OO speech, all right? Because this will give you an easy way into writing your speeches in a much more efficient way. Again, a disclaimer before I begin. This structure was already covered in video 4 of the 10-minute series on our YouTube channel. So I will not be covering a lot of the things at length over here because it was already discussed in the video before. So if you haven't watched the video, I highly request you to watch it again, because in these 15 weeks there's so much else to cover that I cannot be covering every little thing again and again, because everything is connected and we don't have any time to lose. Anyways, but today I'm just going to focus on the things that you can include to make your structure better. Firstly, we should be very clear that there are 3 main parts of a speech: a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion. Beginning is very important because it is important to grab the attention of the audience and set the mood of the speech. That is to say, if it is about a very serious topic, say saving the environment or the bad side of war, you will obviously be starting with something very alarming, with something very sad or very shocking, so that you set the mood for the speech. You set you sort of display how the speech is going to look like, so that the audience is tempted to listen to you. Now here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways that you can use to make your beginnings better. But again, this is just a blueprint. You can use this, you may not use this, you may use something else entirely different from whatever I've mentioned here. Nevertheless, these are the most important, I won't say important, but like these are the most basic basic ideas that you can take from here to write your speeches as beginners. Because again, in this entire session I'll be speaking this again and again. In fact, in this entire program, everything that I'm giving you here is just a blueprint. Once you progress, once you start practicing yourself, you will notice that there are a lot of things that you can change yourselves. All right. Okay. Now, firstly, beginning, use quotes. Quotes are essentially statements that are spoken or written as it is by a very famous person. For example, you must have heard about Mahatma Gandhi's famous quote on environment, that environment has provided enough for man's needs, but not for man's greeds. All right. So that is essentially what Mahatma Gandhi said about environment, and it is a quote. So you can begin your speeches by saying Mahatma Gandhi has rightly said that nature has provided dash dash dash, and then maybe explain the quote a bit and give a definition of whatever environment is or whatever your topic is, and then you can begin with your speech. Anecdotes might be something that you've heard about the first time. To make things easier, I think I would highlight things that are already, I would cover things that are already done. Okay. Anecdotes means small stories from your lives or people around you or lives of other famous people. Anecdotes are essentially small stories that you tell so that your audience can relate with you. For example, if it is a speech on the importance of homework, maybe you can start with a small anecdote saying, I had this friend who did not like doing his homework at all, and because of this it was affecting his marks and his performance in class. But when he realized that it is so important that he should raise his grades, he started doing his homework every day, and that made him realize how important homework is because it helps you build memory, your stamina for studying, etc. Again, this example that I've just given is extremely basic. You can obviously use more anecdotes, more stories, much better stories and experiences from your life in other people's lives and apply it here to begin your speeches. But this is just a basic idea of an anecdote, all right? Famous examples from movies or even songs. Now, this is really interesting because movies and songs are means of entertainment, right? And everybody loves to watch movies or listen to songs. Now, it is a really, really interesting way how entertainment can be used to create a lasting impact in the audience. That is to say, that for example, there's like, I'm not like right now at the top of my head I'm not really able to uh, recognize any song, but I definitely have this movie in my mind, Three Idiots. I'm pretty sure every one of you must have heard about the movie Three Idiots and must have watched it as well. I mean, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend watching it because it's an excellent movie. Okay, so some of you have watched it, some of you have not. Well, I highly recommend you watching that movie because it is actually a pretty interesting movie. Now, the thing with movies or songs is that if you add these examples from movies or songs, you can grab attention immediately because a lot of audience is very captivated if you start with something fun. In fact, a lot of my winning speeches at national or international tournaments have actually won because I started with famous songs or famous movies, because of which I was able to grab the attention of the judges and the attention. And that is a really good way to begin any speech for that matter, because it just sets a light mood, and as you progress further, you will be able to connect funny things to serious things, and it is going to be really interesting. For example, has everybody heard about the Hindi phrase from a famous movie called Tariq Pe Tariq? Yeah, a lot of you have heard about it. Perfect. So Tariq Pe Tariq is generally said when you have a case in when you are like fighting for justice in the court, but the court is always giving you different dates so that you can come to the court and like seek justice for whatever wrong has been done to you. Now, this is a sarcastic way of saying that the court system here in our country is always giving us, the justice system here in our country is always giving us new dates and new days to seek justice, and is not really helping to solve and not really helping us to solve the problems or um, to solve the problems that we're facing. So I remember starting a speech with this line, and there were additional lines as well. So this really grabbed the attention, and I was in my feedback I was specifically mentioned that it was a good way to begin the speech because it grabbed our attention. So always try this, and in fact this is the easiest way that you can use to first try to begin your speeches, because everybody knows about movies, everybody knows about songs. Statistics. Again, statistics might be something you have not heard about, but statistics are just, it is just data, all right? What is data? I'm pretty sure you all have done data handling in your maths classes, right? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, everybody has done data handling in their classes. Now, data handling, what does that chapter tell you? That there are a lot of numbers around you, and you can use those numbers to describe different things around you, right? And data essentially just gives you a lot of numerical information about the thing that you're going to speak about. For example, we say that the human body is made up of 70% water. This makes you understand that, oh, since like half of 100 is 50 and 70 is more than 50, that means that the human body is more than 50% of water. We have more water in us than like any other fluid that there might be. I might be wrong, just don't Just excuse me for my scientific um, information, but just understand that statistics is basically just data or numbers that gives you more information. If you want to know more information about it after this class, just go grab a newspaper or just search on Google newspaper and just read today's newspaper and just go through any headline, you headline or the first paragraph of different articles, and you'll see that a lot of them begin with a lot of numbers because they just grab attention and give a lot of information that makes it look very credible. Credible means it makes it look real. Imaginary stories. So the thing is, imaginary stories are a bit difficult to curate if you're a beginner, because the thing with imaginary story is that you have to be, of course, imaginative, creative, but at the same time it should not go overboard with the topic. It has to be very much related with the topic, okay? Because if you're going to say something really stupid by making weird things in your head, that is not really going to help you, right? So I would not want you to focus on this one at all, so like just totally cover it. I think this is getting messy and I'm not even able to erase it. Just a second. Wait, just give me a second. I really don't know why I'm not able to erase it. Okay, let's not waste our time. But like just remember that no need to focus on imaginary story right now, because it will take some sort of practice for you to actually understand how to create an imaginary story and relate it to the topic that you're talking about. Second, middle. This is the second most important because it gives you the information about your topic, so it must be relevant. Now there's a very particular format that you should definitely follow when you're talking about the content or the main body of your speech, all right? And this formula has already been discussed in the fourth video on Project Asari's channel, so I really don't want to waste more of your time and explain it again. So just understand that this is a formula that you can use to write the main body of your content. And in order to write a good speech, focus on content a lot and be a good researcher. And how to research is something that we're going to cover right now. And read or watch good YouTube videos in order to gain knowledge, and stop taking help from any AI bot and start using your own knowledge. This is so important, because in today's time we're so distracted by AI that it is playing with our brains. We're not ready to use our brains at all. But I really hope that through these 15 weeks I'm able to reverse your attention, and I'm actually able to help you to just eradicate AI from your life when you're working for something for yourself, because you really have to retain your creativity. Okay, the third and the last structure is conclusion. That is, it must be the summary of the entire speech. So here, just a disclaimer, XYZ here means your arguments. And what are arguments? You write your arguments using this structure. Where you can use this structure, how can you use this structure? You can use this structure by watching the video 4 in the series. Summarize by saying, hence we should do this because it helps in this. For example, if you're writing a speech on save environment and you said that you must save environment because humans and plants are dependent upon it, and in your speech you've already given a lot of reasons why we as humans or plants are dependent upon it, right? In your speech you could potentially say, while you're concluding, you could say that hence we should protect our environment because plants are dependent upon it for nutrients, and we as humans are dependent upon it for a lot of material goods that we require in our day-to-day life. So this is just a very basic example and a very easy way of how you can summarize your speech. Second, end with an open question. So I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of speeches do end with an open question for the audience. So what do you think? Should we even do this? Are we actually supposed to do this or that? Something to think about. And then speakers usually tend to add something to think about it, or will you, something like that, so that it just gives a sort of strong message to the audience, or a strong indication that hey, you have to do this thing. For example, if you're talking about environment only, you can end your speech by saying something like, so are you with me in saving the environment? Something like that. Again, very basic, very easy to use. Give a thought to the audience. Again, this is something that has to be worked upon and will only come with practice. Give a thought to the audience means you give a very important statement. You give a statement that has not been mentioned in your speech earlier. So this thought acts like a new thought to the audience, and it keeps them thinking that, oh, how can I relate this last thought to everything that the speaker said to me before. All right, that brings us to the completion of the second agenda for this lecture. Now I really request you all to just go through all the entire structure that I've just mentioned here, or if you just want to revise your notes once again, because after this we're going to discuss something really important. And there's just a 1 minute break that I'm going to give you, because I really need a sip of water. So if you want to grab water, just go grab it and come back quickly. Okay, now I'll be beginning with a very important topic, that is how to research. So the thing with research is just trying to find good material or good content for your speech. And why is content so important is again covered in one of our videos on our YouTube channel. So if you still want to gain knowledge as to why content is so important, please watch the YouTube videos again, or at least once if you haven't watched it. Anyways, how to research for a speech. Note down everything you know about the topic, even if it is just a small thing or something that relates even closely to the topic you're writing about. Spend as much time as you can thinking. Second, try to connect whatever you've written. Just try even if it does not make any sense, because this will help you fill the gaps in your knowledge. Now, as students, we are not expected to know everything. I mean, as humans in general, we cannot know everything that is out there in the world, right? Because there's just so much information in the world. There's so many topics that you can write about, so much knowledge to consume. It is difficult that we know about everything. But one good thing, and this is so amazing, is that we as educated, we are grateful to have basic literacy, right? And because of that, we have a lot of basic knowledge, which is more than an average literate person might have, thanks to the brilliant education that our parents are providing to us. Am I right or wrong? Perfect. So the thing is, because we as literate human beings can converse in English, can talk to other people, can observe our surroundings, study in good schools, have basic knowledge, can do know a lot about things, do know about a lot of basic things that there are. So even if you do not know something specific, you will be able, trust me, you will be able to make some sort of connection from somewhere, even if you don't know anything but just the basics. Now, to explain you better with an example, I know you all must know about AI, but for now, just for now, assume, okay, assume that you know very little about AI, or in fact don't know about AI at all. You would still at least know that AI is some form of technology. And I am pretty sure in your 10 to 11 years of education till now, you all might know what are the harms of technology and what are the good sides of technology. Now, when you're going to research for AI, for this particular topic, AI should be banned for students. And if you don't know what AI is, but you do know it is a form of technology, write whatever you know about technology. Take a piece of paper, draw a line between that paper, write what are the good things about technology, write what are the bad things about technology. Done. Then on the other side of the paper, again draw a line and write how is technology good for students and how is technology not good for students. Now you've hit one bird with two stones. Why? Because you also know the harms and benefits of technology, but you also have related it for students. Now your only one task that is left is use that knowledge to connect it to something really specific and connect it to something you don't know about. Okay, now this brings us to our next step. Because see, even if you didn't know a lot about the topic, you knew something about, again, we've discussed this. Now, after drawing some connections, search for articles or YouTube videos that explain the keyword of your topic. Note down the important points. Now that you have two sets of information that you've created yourself from your own knowledge, from all the basic education that you have about technology and how is technology good or bad for students, now go search the definition of AI. Because see guys, it is really very simple. Even when I write my speeches, I always give myself a lot of thinking time, and of course by a lot of time I do not mean like 2-3 hours. Of course that's not fine. So it's just that I do give myself a lot of time. See, you all are living in good families. You might for example, your parents are talking about the current news that is going on. Your teachers are teaching you so many things. Your school textbooks are teaching you so many things. All of those things are making you much more educated than you really are. So I really request you all to keep note of everything around you, of keep note of all the conversations that are happening around you, because they will actually help you with a lot of material that might be that might come very handy when you're explaining or going to write a particular speech about a particular topic that has been given to you. All right, so now that you know what are the harms or benefits of technology and for that of students, now go on Google and search what is AI, when was AI invented, etc. Just these basic questions, so that you have a basic idea about the topic that you're going to search about. Okay, maybe if you don't like reading, just go on YouTube. There's so much things on YouTube, and none of us use YouTube for what it actually is. So watch good videos on YouTube. It's really going to help you. After you do so, take something from your notes and frame a question about it. About notes, see, this is going to be $1 million advice for all of you. Even if you know everything, even if you know a lot of things about a particular topic, some person, some teacher, some friend is talking about, take notes. Take notes of everything. Be as specific and be as engaging as you can as possible, because believe me, please take great notice of this. It is so important for us as students to be taking notes of things you think are very important, taking notes of things you think you don't know, or some things that are really new to you. Please take notes. It is really going to help you a lot. So while you're watching that YouTube video or reading an article, take notes of difficult words, things that you didn't know about, or new things, or important things you think would be helpful in your speech. Just take notes. Do anything you want to when you're writing your notes, because they are your notes, and they have to be written in a way that you want them to. Okay, take something from your notes and frame a question about it. For example, there is a particular new information that you find really fascinating, or something that you've never heard about. Take that information and frame a question about it. For example, you noted a new point from an article or a video that says that AI enables students to understand things better. Create a question. Create a question and ask it to Google. How does AI help students in studies, or in learning better, or in understanding, etc.? When you frame questions of things that are new to you and ask it to Google, or search it somewhere, you're essentially creating more knowledge for yourself, and that is actually going to help you in understanding that topic better. And if you understand the topic that you're going to write about better, you're bound to write a really good speech, because you have a very, very good knowledge and understanding about the topic. And believe me, this is really important, that you spend a lot of time researching about the topic that you're studying. Till here, are we all following? Okay, perfect, thank you. Now again, note the important points from the question that you've just searched, and repeat the process until you think you have enough notes for your speech. Again, this is very subjective, how many notes you should read, how many articles you should read, how many notes you should take. That all depends upon the length of your speech, how much you want to gain, how much you want to write. Okay, it really just depends upon that. Nevertheless, as you progress, you will be able to understand what is the best for you. So don't worry about this. Just focus on repeating the steps again and again. I'll just give you a small gist again. Firstly, note down everything you know about that topic. Even if you've never heard about that topic, try to take something from that topic that closely relates to something you already know. Write everything you know about the topic that you already know, like as much as you can write about it. Try to connect it to the particular keyword that you were facing a problem while you were in the topic that you got. Second step done. Now third step, after you have written all the information, all the basic information you knew about that topic, now search for the keyword. What is that? When was it invented? Why is it so important? Is it still existing? Depending upon whatever the keyword is. The fourth step then becomes, this is a part of the third step. Watch YouTube videos or search for articles and read about it. Watch YouTube videos for the topic, for the keyword that you searched. Take notes. Take as many notes as you can. Now take something from your notes, fourth step, and frame a question about it. You think there's something really important in your notes. You find something really interesting in your notes, right? Take that thing and use it to create a question and ask it on your search engines. Read that again. Watch YouTube videos. Take notes again. When you create these notes, there'll be again things that you didn't know about, again things that you have to search about. Do that. Keep on doing this until you have enough notes for your speech. And now, after you have all the notes, now pick your favorite parts of the information that you have so sorry about that, that you have gathered and use it in the structure provided. Again, in the structure provided is again something that has been covered in video 4. So if you check the description box of the 4th video, you will find a structure, a printable structure that you can work with so that you can organize your speech and your thoughts. Now this brings us to the end of today's first session of the first week. These were all the main things that I wanted to discuss with you all.